So it looks like Kamala is trying to get the vote of invaders and destroyers in more ways than one.
The voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease.
Interesting strategy there, as some people are saying that she's just throwing the election at this point, as the thing that's really devastated right now is really her campaign, as of course desperate times call for desperate measures. And this is why I really wanted to talk about the potential next October surprise that the Democrats and the establishment could be trying to pull out here. As of course, the last time we did this video saying, hey, what's going to be the larger October surprise? By the way, we did that video on the last day of September. The next day, literally, one of the things that we predicted did happen. As, let's be honest here, Kamala definitely isn't doing herself any favors, as she's just dropping word salad after gaffe, confusing the utter ish out of people who are asking themselves, how is she going to be the next president of the United States? When she says things like this.
What we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know.
What? Look, you cannot see the things you can't see. Thanks there, genius. Wow, what words of wisdoms. Seriously, someone should think of these inspirational quotes and put them on fortune cookies and sell them immediately. I want 10% of that idea. All of this as even Axios is reporting right now that there are real-life tensions between Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, and his VP pick that, of course, implemented a coup d'etat against him, put him on the sidelines, as the Biden team, as well as a lot of Democrats, are kind of asking themselves, what did we do here? This is horrible, as some polls are suggesting that Joe Biden, before dropping out, was doing better in the polls than Kamala Harris is right now, highlighting how their very undemocratic ouster of Joe Biden really isn't working for them. And even though there was like 2 minutes of an absolute love affair by the corporate Hollywood media establishment, that no longer is working like it used to. That honeymoon phase is absolutely over, as Joe Biden is clearly signaling to the world that he's not okay with what just happened, and he's not okay with Kamala Harris. This picture here, I think, represents some of the thinking happening behind the scenes here, as there's even some reports of physical altercations that are happening between high-profile people of the Biden family and the Kamala Harris campaign that is becoming more and more frustrated. And when you're losing, when you're behind, that's really when you see a lot of people's true colors. And the way that they are now, along with their projections, doesn't highlight a very easy situation for Kamala, nor for Biden, that is becoming more of a thorn for the latest current thing that the establishment wants to shove down everyone's necks. As I think here, speculating now, there probably will be some potential incident that will oust Joe Biden from the presidency of the United States, as of course he's inconvenient for them. They want him gone. There's a reason they gave him a horrible time slot the first day of the DNC, and then he went off on vacation for the rest of the time. As it's fair to say that Biden is becoming more of a liability for the establishment and Kamala than he ever has before. Now, how will the media respond here? As of course, there's a lot of different kind of factors here. As we saw previously 4 years ago, that they were willing to do anything and everything for Joe Biden, including even block, censor, and destroy a national news story that everyone wanted and should have heard about, but didn't. But now the media is acting a little bit different, especially after the train wreck 60-minute interview, which, again, wasn't even a hard interview. It was just a basic, regular interview of Kamala Harris and, of course, vice presidential candidate Tim Walz. They didn't even go that hard. They just asked simple questions that, of course, Kamala and Walz fumbled on, and, of course, was an utter PR disaster that led to, of course, declines in their polls. Now we are hearing that Kamala Harris will actually be sitting down with Fox News, which could lead to another train wreck kind of, as it looks like she's definitely getting very desperate. And when that happens, a lot of mistakes happen as well. As of course, the first thing that now comes to my mind with the way that things are going, with the tensions between Biden and Harris, especially after Biden just called out some of the lies by Kamala Harris trying to butt her way in, specifically into the hurricane response, does signal that some of the media connected to Biden might potentially be ripping her a new one as well, as there could be some underhanded power play efforts happening behind the scenes with, of course, different power factions fighting each other. This time, specifically the Harris faction versus the Biden faction, that there absolutely isn't any kind of love affair around. Another thing that has been a thorn to the Kamala Harris campaign is, of course, the developments inside of the Middle East that is ripping up her support base that is fighting amongst each other surrounding this specific issue. As right now, to complicate the situation even further, Joe Biden just announced that he's going to be sending anti-missile systems and 100 troops on the ground right now to Israel. All of this as in the making of this video. We got breaking news that the United States are telling all Americans in Lebanon to depart now, as they are expecting the war in that region to, of course, intensify. Now, this is a major deal. This is something that's going to have a lot of people protesting and angry about the United States with their full support of this conflict, as, of course, we didn't ask for a vote of Congress. We didn't ask the American public, hey, are you okay with us being directly involved here? Are you okay with troops on the ground, on the battlefield? Are you okay with them deploying people and getting us involved with what some people are describing as a potential global conflict? A kind of clash of civilization moments while we are leaving our border wide open, allowing people to come into this country that are radical Islamists that we also have pissed off in the region. Are you okay with that? And the vast majority of people, I would say, are not okay with that, as this is another yet significant escalation here right before the election, as the United States is now sending its most advanced missile defense system on the ground in Israel, a government and military that has previously sold American military secrets over to China, a country that is also flying a lot of spying drone balloons over the United States, as the United States Air Force just admitted that at least a dozen flying air balloon drones have been flying over America's most, quote, sensitive military bases, as they are reporting protocol that actually prevents them from being able to take them down. All of this as we also just saw a major war game being played by China that sent a lot of its advanced military tech and naval forces all around the island of Taiwan, as of course everyone was looking at these war game scenarios as a potential scenario that could go live and hot at any moment in time. The latest reports that we're getting right now is that China just ended this larger war game, as it does signal larger problems ahead for China that does do extensive business with Ukraine and also North Korea, which also complicates the current situation going on right now in the region, as there are multiple reports right now of many North Korean fighting groups right now fighting alongside the Russians in Ukraine. This is the latest allegation from Volodymyr Zelensky, as we told you just a couple months ago that this was going to happen, and it looks like it is happening, as the Russians are increasing their alliance between not just North Korea, but also Iran, and there's the larger possibility of them not just cooperating on arms and technology, but specifically advanced nuclear weapons. Since, you know, if they're in a close alliance, why wouldn't they just actively try to, of course, work and participate with each other when it comes to, of course, the larger kind of consequences of actions that a lot of people aren't really thinking about? As, of course, mainly before major global conflicts, a lot of the people didn't think that they were going to escalate to the proportions that they did. A lot of people didn't believe that things could get as bad as they did. But with the alliances that are being made right now, we are in for a lot of trouble. And right now, there are a lot of very specific countries that are seeing that there probably will be some kind of shift and change in leadership, as the United States looks kind of weak right now. It looks divided. And if there ever was an opportune time, whether it was with any of the ongoing conflicts that we're involved in right now, or some of the tumultuous areas like Taiwan, some of the places in Africa. Of course, what we have in the Middle East is also very crazy. Europe is also in a war. And if there ever was a time for any of these countries to say, we got to take advantage of this kind of situation, it would be right now, right before the election, right before the major kind of change of power within Washington, D.C. And this is why this is, I think, one of the most dangerous times in American history. So, of course, it doesn't look good for the U.S. petrodollar. It doesn't look good for America, its people, and its interest, as the Russians are slowly making a lot of advances inside of Ukraine, taking away their land, taking away their territory, to the point where even the Kiev Independent is reporting that the Ukrainians are actually considering seceding territory in order to, of course, end this war, according to reports from Der Spiegel. Something, of course, that was a non-starter, non-negotiation, according to Zelensky, according to the U.S. State Department, and now looks like it is inevitable. As a lot of prominent people were saying that this should have kind of happened in the beginning, which could have prevented a loss of life, which could have prevented more territory from being taken away. A lot of people didn't listen to those people. Those people were deliberately attacked. Elon Musk was attacked for proposing these ideas. I was attacked for proposing these ideas as well, as, of course, the first thing that came to mind was saving Slavic lives and not bringing us closer towards a total global nuclear conflict. But in between now and the U.S. election, you could definitely expect some global international tensions to rise here, and therefore creating a very dangerous situation. And this is why I think there probably will be more kind of larger tensions within international relations that could potentially be the next October surprise that is absolutely worth looking into. As I definitely see the larger possibility of long-range advanced missiles shot by the United States and NATO inside of Ukraine against Russia potentially happening within the next few days, therefore escalating the situation, making Russia react. That reaction will, of course, create more reactions, perpetuating this insane delusional cycle of perpetual war with a nuclear-armed nation, which is dumb. Another scenario that I think is less likely than, of course, Biden being ousted and, of course, more geopolitical tensions is, of course, the larger potential of domestic kind of clashes. As currently, CBS News is reporting that FEMA crews are relocating because of threats from alleged armed militia groups. Now, whatever you might make of that, it's definitely fair to say that Americans are at odds with each other politically, as we also yesterday got the news, fake news, about an alleged third attempted assassination of Donald Trump, which was a man literally going up to police and asking them what he should do with his firearms in his car. For some reason, that incident was translated either by the authorities or by some fake news spreaders online that there was a credible attempt on the life of Donald Trump, which, again, there wasn't. The guy has been known in kind of right-wing circles. He's taken a lot of pictures with a lot of prominent right-wingers, including myself. He came out and then just released a big video describing exactly what happened to him, as we just found ourselves in another kind of ridiculous situation as people were just regurgitating headlines that they were hearing that was absolute fake news and disinformation. There's also this kind of weird story from the Wall Street Journal describing a mystery drone swarm that just happened at a U.S. military base that allegedly stumped the Pentagon, as there's other conversations about allegedly a huge alien announcement that could happen within weeks, as a professor came out and said that, quote, "It would be wonderful if it coincided with the first woman in the White House," he jokes. Ha ha, no. Not that funny, dude. As the potential aliens probably wouldn't be too impressed with Kamala Harris as our leader. Let's just be real here. Let's just be honest. Let's just, imagine coming down in America. Take me to your leader. And you're met by this hyena cackling weird lady that talks about being unburdened by what has been and not seeing what she can't see. The aliens are going to be like, these are stupid ass ants. What are these dumb? And again, Project Blue Beam automatically comes to my mind. We're talking about October surprises. Is that something that can happen? I think that's rare. I did this video in what I think is most probable between now and November 5th. First of all, the Biden kind of larger question, I think, will be answered within the next few days. I think tensions will rise internationally to a very serious level, and therefore Kamala Harris will look like a strong commander-in-chief. Will there be any kind of domestic strife as of right now? No. I think a lot of people are kind of disillusioned and pissed off with politics, rightfully so, because it's a bastardized evil system run by multinational corporate sociopathic evil creatures and demons and entities that don't give a damn about you. Will there be some kind of larger alien disclosure? That's a wild card. I say that's like a 3% chance they pull that one out. But what do you think the next October surprise will be? Let me know down in the comment section below. As of course, the last time we did this video, we called out exactly what was going to happen, and that's exactly what did happen. As we're not prophets, we're just kind of autistic nerds that pay attention to what's going on here, that pay attention to it a little bit more on lukeunfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up for this yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up right now. It's more important than ever. We need your support. We got a lot of really awesome things going on for you just for members of lukeunfiltered.com. And we truly do need your support now more than ever. We're getting frickin', some people like to call it matrix attacks. I don't know if I would even call it that, but we're just getting screwed over by the government really bad. We need your support. We need to hire lawyers, and I got to figure this out. It's not fun. It's not easy to deal with, but we need your support now more than ever. So sign up to lukeunfiltered.com. We return later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, with a very special podcast episode. We have another one Tuesday, another one Wednesday. So 6 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for all of that on the best political show.com, and of course this YouTube channel, youtube.com/wearechange.